Did everyone here watch the debut of the Nexus? Okay, because I remember, obviously, sometimes you want to kill yourself because you have to watch Raw till 4 a.m. But this one week I hadn't watched it, and my friend texted me the next morning and said, you have to watch the show, but don't read any spoilers. Don't go on Facebook or anything. And I had no idea what to expect. And then John Cena, who at that point, for male adults, was tough to get behind. And he's in the ring, and all of a sudden these 8 guys just circle the ring and beat the out of him. So it was great. But you were part of that. It was the Nexus originating there. You all beat up John Cena. Something happened to Justin Roberts that we will not talk about. There's a tie involved. But how did that come about that you win the season 1 of NXT, and then the next week you guys are debuting in the main event on Raw and just annihilating John Cena and causing chaos, because at that point they weren't pushing young guys like that?
So I won NXT Season 1 on the Tuesday, went back home feeling great, had a couple of days off, and then I got my travel through from WWE's travel department. Here are your flights for next week's show. You're going to be down in Miami. You're going to be at the American Airlines Center for Raw. And I was thinking, great, this is going to be my debut as a true WWE superstar. I'll no longer be on NXT. I'm going to be on Raw. This is fantastic. To my surprise, the other 7 guys from NXT Season 1 also got travel and told to go down to Miami in addition to myself. So when I get there, there's all 8 of us there. And as far as we were aware, only the winner got to be on Raw. These other 7 guys, we didn't know what was going to happen to them. But even though I'd won NXT Season 1, at this point I was still classed as a rookie for some reason. I was told, no, you still have to change in the corridor. You're still not allowed in the locker room. So I was kind of pissed off about this, but whatever. I'm getting my chance to live my dream and wrestle for WWE, so I'll just go along with it. So we sit around all day. None of the other 7 guys get an update of why they're even there. Eventually, the show comes out and the writers come out of their room, and the show usually starts about 8 p.m. in the East Coast of America, and by this point, it was like 6 p.m., so we're getting close to the show starting. One of the writers comes over to me and says, hey, here's all we have for you today. Here's a little promo. You're going to be backstage. There's going to be an interview between yourself and Angela Fong, who was the backstage interviewer at that time. And it was very generic. It was just me in a suit saying, yes, I won NXT Season 1, and I'm here, and I'm going to be a big star, and eventually I want to get to the very top and take everybody out. It's the kind of thing that any debuting heel will ever say. It's just, oh, yeah, I'm here. Get him on camera. Did my promo, and there's about 90 minutes left of Raw at this point, and I go back to my bags that are in the corridor, thinking, okay, great, that's job done. Let's get packed up, and as soon as the show ends, I'll get in my car and drive to the next town or whatever it was. At this point, I get back to my bags, and the other 7 guys and John Laurinaitis is waiting for me. And John Laurinaitis was the head of talent relations at that point, and he was kind of the go-to guy if I had any questions or anything like that. He was the guy who actually hired me. And he took us all along. He said, listen, follow me. So we thought, okay, this is going to be strange. Where are we going? We're going to Vince's office. Now, Vince is a very hands-on guy. And during Raw or during a pay-per-view or during SmackDown, he sits in Gorilla right next to the curtain. He's got a headset on, and he's got a microphone and a monitor in front of us managing the whole show. He's talking to referees. He's talking to Kevin Dunn in the production truck. He's giving advice to wrestlers who are about to go out. He's critiquing guys who just come back. He doesn't leave Gorilla unless it's big. So he's waiting in his office, which is very, very strange. And I know this. So we walk over to his office, and when we get there, in the middle of Raw, Vince is there. And not only is Vince there, the 2 head writers are in there. John Laurinaitis, who's with us, head of talent relations, he's there. And all of the agents or producers, the guys like Arn Anderson and Dean Malenko and Ricky Steamboat, all these top producers in WWE, they're all in there in the middle of Raw. So I know something's bad here. This isn't good at all. We're about to get yelled at. Someone screwed something up. Okay, this could be the end, guys. So we walk in there, and Vince picks up 8 armbands, and they've got the yellow N on. There was no explanation what the N was at this point. He says, I want each of you to put these on. Then I want you to go out at the end of the show. I want you to trash the ring. I want you to smash everything up. You see anyone move, I don't care if it's a referee, if it's an announcer, if it's a security guard, you beat them up, you knock them out. You attack John Cena, you beat him up, you leave him laying, you rip the ring apart, you break whatever you can. We're going to get all new stuff next week, so I want you to cause as much damage as you can. There are Stanley knives hidden under the ring. We want you to use those. And the only rules are you can't attack anyone in the audience, which, to be honest with you, I think that went unsaid, but he felt the need to mention it. And the other rule was we weren't allowed to touch the cameras because some of the cameras around WWE rings, they're HD and they're worth over $100,000. And as much as Vince likes to invest in the show, that might have been a slightly too steep price tag. So anyway, we walked down, and just before I went out, Finley pulled me to one side, and he was, again, an agent with WWE. He said, Wade, whatever you do out there, all the destruction that's going to happen out there now, the one thing I need you to do is to grab a Stanley knife, cut open the blue canvas on top of the ring, and pull back the ring canvas. That's what I want you to do. Just make sure you do that. Expose the wooden boards that are underneath. And I thought it was a strange request, and I thought, I don't know why he wants me to do this. We're doing a lot more cooler stuff than that. That sounds kind of rubbish, but whatever. This is Fit Finley, and I'm not going to rock the boat. I'll do what he says. So we go down. We smash everything up. The crowd's going crazy. They're in shock. People look terrified. And just before we walk out of there, I remember, grab that Stanley knife, cut the ring apron, pull back the blue canvas, expose the wooden boards. So at this point, we all walk to the back. And when we get to the back, we're given a standing ovation. And the locker room is waiting there. Everyone's shaking our hands. Everyone's clapping for us. And remember, at this point, we're pieces of dirt. We're the lowest of the low, and most people won't even acknowledge us. We can't even change in the locker room. So that was kind of strange. We were like, wow, we must have done something good there. And then Vince is waiting for us. Everyone's shaking our hands, telling us how great it was. And then we got to watch back what had actually happened, and we watched it back, and it looked amazing, and they said close-ups of all these fans who were genuinely terrified. There was women who looked like they were about to cry. There was kids who were crying. People looked scared, and it was really quite the spectacle. And then I realized what Fit was getting at when he told me to pull back the canvas and expose the wooden boards, because at this point, as a wrestler, a young wrestler coming up, one of your jobs is to put the ring up and take it down. And anyone who's been through indie wrestling knows that's your job. Your job isn't just to turn up and wrestle. You've got to do the dirty work too. And I'd put up 1,000 rings at this point and carried the boards, and I'd seen a ring halfway put up and halfway taken down. But the truth is, most people in the WWE universe or the viewers of professional wrestling have never seen a professional wrestling ring in a state of being half built or half ripped apart. And I think a lot of people think the ring is like a bouncy castle, or it's like a bed and there's layers of padding and stuff like that under there. And that was really the first time most of the audience for WWE had ever seen what it is like to look at a ring that's half built, and it really added to that scene of destruction. I think that was key to making us over to the level that we were over, because it was such a shocking sight to see a ring half built with ropes ripped down and these wooden boards exposed. So that moment was so incredible and had such a huge impact. And suddenly Nexus, these idiots who were running up and down in the crowd and selling programs to people in a 1-minute competition and downing pints of Coca-Cola, suddenly these idiots who we'd been treating like dirt for 8 weeks or 9 weeks were suddenly the biggest threat on the show and terrors. And a huge part of it was that destruction of the actual ring.